Okay, guys, we are finally on the last in our lessons in this series, and we are doing something very, very important. It is a fundamental law in electricity. Okay, it's called the Intro to Ohm's Law. Okay, and in this particular exercise, as I mentioned, we're going to learn how voltage, current, and resistance are all related to each other because we've talked about them a lot separately. But what you need to understand is that they all relate to each other. So if voltage is changed, it affects resistance, it affects the current. Okay. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a formula so that you can calculate those different aspects. Okay. And learn how to know exactly, say, what level of resistance you need, how much current something can handle, or amps, if you will, how much resistance. You're going to learn how to calculate all those things. And it is so much easier than you might imagine. And there's a really neato diagram that I'm going to give you. It's going to help you to understand the relationship by simply putting your finger over top. So it'll be fun too. Okay, so just to let you know that Ohm's law, I'm going to bring this up to the top here, to the right space in our slides. It's called Ohm's law because it was discovered by, or let's say named for, George Simon Ohm. He's the person who went ahead and, I guess, made it formal, a formal description of how it all works together. So basically the way that it works is voltage is equal to current times resistance, okay? So V is equal to I times R, okay? And again, like I said, if you change one, you impact the others. So super fun way to remember this is that, I'm going to move this up here for a second, is if you put this is, by the way, this is obviously like a little image here to help you remember how all three work together. So say you didn't know the voltage, right? So that would be like you took your thumb and you put it over top of the V here at the top of this triangle, okay? And what's neat here is if you see the I and the R next to each other, that means you multiply them. If you see, for example, in the next description where the I is on the bottom and you would cover that up, like right here, okay, and you cover that up, you see that V is over top of R, just like in an equation where you have a numerator and a denominator. So it even tells you, basically by looking at it visually, whether or not you have to multiply or divide, and in what order. So it's really neato and cool, all right? And then this one, the last one, when you're looking for resistance, you put your finger over top of it, and you're going to take it voltage and divide it by your resistance, okay? Or, I'm sorry, your voltage and divide it by your current, okay? Which is I. All right, so again, you can look at this picture. It really helps you to understand how it works. If you want to find voltage, cover up the V, and then you know then what you need to know is your resistance and your, I don't know why I won't keep wanting to say that, your current times your resistance. If you want to know what your current is, you have to divide your voltage by your resistance. And if you want to know the resistance, you divide voltage by current. Okay, so just remember this. You absolutely have to remember it. We are going to use that a lot. Don't forget it. Maybe we'll have to print it out, but so there. Okay, so we're going to take a look at the circuit back on Tinkercad, and you're going to see that there's something called a multimeter attached here. This is this little yellow block, right? And that basically just shows you how much current is flowing through a resistor. Again, here's our resistor, right? And an LED, right? Because obviously the current goes through the resistor and into the LED like that, okay? So a multimeter is a tool that can verify the amount of resistance, current, or voltage in a circuit. Okay, so in this particular step, you are going to see the measurement on the multimeter window increase and decrease. Sorry, you're going to see the measurement on the multimeter increase and decrease as you increase and decrease the value of the resistor. Okay, so if we look here, and we click on this and we change it from, say, let's say we want to have it be 100 ohms and change it to 100 kilo ohms. Take a look at that LED light. Look how much darker it is. Look at that difference.